Hello. Hello, everybody. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Great to have you all here. Welcome to the Mark Out with Joe Adventures in the Cosmic Suit. What's St. Patrick's Day? That's interesting. Alexandra Halpern. Mark, tell us what's St. Patrick's Day. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on. I'm on my own YouTube channel. Hang on. So, St. Patrick's Day. Well, I did read something about St. Patrick's Day a few years ago. I know it's a meme. I know it's one of those stories that's been created to, blah, blah, blah. But St. Patrick's Day in Ireland has been cancelled for 2 years, basically. So this is a big day in Ireland. And I just think it's nice that people are going to be celebrating and they don't have to wear masks. Well, nobody's ever had to wear a mask, to be honest. But, you know what I mean. But as you brought that question up, because it is a good question, I want to share this guy with you. This is, if you want to know anything about Irish history, Michael Tazarian is the man. And he's done loads and loads and loads of really good stuff. I'd love to get him on the show, actually. If anybody knows him, tell him I'd love to speak to him. But I haven't actually read any of Michael's stuff for 3 or 4 months, or maybe longer. So I'm sure he'll know the answer better than me. So go and have a look at Michael's stuff. What else can I tell you? The other thing that's been interesting for me and for a lot of people is, and I'll talk to Farrah about this in a bit, but this word Wetiko keeps popping up in our consciousness. So I've just got this book from Paul Levy. I'd love to speak to Paul if anybody knows him. Tell him where I am. I just got this. I haven't, I've hardly started reading it yet, but Wetiko has been popping up all over the place. JC's talked about it. Rachel Eleanor's been emailing about it. It popped up. I watched a David Icke video about it the other day. It's just like, it's funny how these words pop up and come into your consciousness at the time you need them. Because I've had 52 years of Wetiko and I'm a bit fed up with it. So I do recommend doing some research yourself. And this is a good starting place. Paul Levy is amazing from what I've seen so far. Claire says, my good friend knows Michael Tazarian well. Well, that's great, Claire. Could you give us an introduction? I'm using my YouTube channel as a kind of intellectual dating site. It's good, isn't it? So let's crack on with this, because I don't think you need an introduction to Farrah, so I'll just bring her on. Hi, Farrah. How are you?
Hey, Mark. Well, and you?
Yeah, not bad. I'm pretty good, actually. Pretty good. I mean, it's been a strange time. I think one thing I've noticed in the last few weeks is that I've listened to a lot of talks from people who've said that they just don't feel like doing anything, or they're kind of a bit like, and it's impossible for me not to do anything because I'm a workaholic, but I have slowed down on some things, shall we say. And it's kind of,
I think that's good for you.
Well, I think it's, I suppose we do need a rest sometimes. And it's been an intense couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. No, look, this month, for me personally, I obviously understand the energies collectively, and then we can also be experiencing something totally different. But for me, this month started off great, and it's just gotten more intense. And yeah, just been really exhausted. I don't usually suffer with all of that fatigue and headaches and stuff. And sure, it's been a bit off the charts. I can't work on more than maybe one person a day at the moment.
Wow.
Just with
you normally do a lot more than that.
Yeah, I can usually do 2, maybe 3, but it's just, I'm finding it's a lot. There's a lot happening. But Spirit showed Corey and I that karma started happening very fast. So from now, the first week of March, in the next 6 months, karma's coming very, very quick. 6 months. So yeah, very exciting.
Have you heard of the Karma Lords?
No.
JC's in the chat. She's going to laugh now because we're talking about the karma. I'm the Lord of Karma.
Who's the Lord of Karma?
Lady Boy George.
Oh.
They've got a jingle and everything. Karma, 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 chameleon.
I love that.
Anyway, listen. So this is a live Q&A. I thought it'd be fun to do it live. No naughty words. Let's not mention that by name or anything like that. And just let's talk in code if we've got to mention anything that this platform doesn't like. I think the format we should do, because you've had people emailing you questions, and then for those of you watching this who've not seen Farrah do this before, basically the questions come in, and then Farrah and her partner in crime, Corey, they go off and they go into the quantum realm basically and come back with answers. And I just find that fascinating because I've worked with these brilliant women for about a year now. I don't know, how long has it been? Been quite a while. She's always nagging me to protect myself, and she's always nagging me to get clearance and stuff. And I'm a bit of a naughty boy because I don't always, I'm not always available, am I?
Yeah, you're a very busy man. Very busy man. But yeah, I mean, I thought it would be quite nice to talk about what's outside of the dome on Earth, the continents, and then this matrix that Corey and I found a month ago, what that looks like and the unplugging of that. Just obviously Spirit shows it to us in a way that we can understand it. So I thought that was quite interesting. And yeah, we decided, instead of channeling, to just go in and do remote view, check that we see the same thing, and then chat about it.
Okay, so what question? I haven't got the questions in front. Did you send me the questions? I don't think you did.
No, I just kind of I think I sent you a voice note just talking about the matrix, the dome, what's outside of the dome. How was so we were asking, like, how did the dome get put in place, which was really interesting. So I can explain to you a little bit about these matrix domes that we see we plugged into, if you like.
Well, should we? I mean, have you got a list of questions and answers? Because normally I read the questions so that I've got something to do.
No, I don't. I just literally channeled some stuff that people had been asking about, like just general people.
Okay. Well, you go ahead then. You go ahead, and then
interrupt me and ask me if you have questions, or if you want to, if you don't understand.
You've got something to share with us. So let's do that first, and then maybe we get some people who are in the chat to ask questions or come on the show or whatever. What do you think?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. Let's have a party. Let's have a party.
Oh, let's have a party. Have you got your 4-leaf clover?
No. I was about looking for 4-leaf clovers. I did all that when I was about 5, and that was enough for me because it was hours and hours.
I still look for them as adults. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to find one.
It's a mug's game, looking for 4-leaf clovers. I think it was things that our parents invented just to keep us busy, because we didn't have laptops and phones back then, where you had to spend hours in fields looking for things.
True, the right way to be raised.
It was, yeah, it was great. It was brilliant. I was out at 8 a.m. and I didn't get back till 9 p.m. My parents had no idea where I was.
So beautiful.
Do you know what? Beautiful. I've got to tell you this story, actually. I was reminded of this the other day. My great-grandfather was called Joseph Nightingale Wooding, and he was my best friend when I was a kid, and he was amazing. And he used to take the piss out of me all the time. And he said, if you're going to go hunting for rabbits, this is what you need to do. And I was like, yeah, okay, what? And he said, you basically take a brick, and then you find the rabbit hole, and you put the brick outside the rabbit hole, and then you put some lettuce on top of the brick, and then you sprinkle some pepper on top of the lettuce, and then you just go and stand back and hide behind a tree and wait for the rabbit to come out. And I was like, how does it? He says, this is the humane way. This is the humane way of catching rabbits, right? Because, I'm a country boy, and catching rabbits was something that we did.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did this, and there was the bricks all around these holes, rabbit holes in the warren. And I stood there for hours and hours and hours waiting for a rabbit. And rabbits came out, and he said what would happen is they smell the lettuce, they start eating it, and then they'd sneeze on the pepper and knock themselves out on the brick.
That is so funny.
I believed him.
Well,
I've never done that joke before.
God. I haven't heard that joke before, but it's interesting talking about, like, people who catch fish and then release them. Yeah. We all grew up, that sport that you do. And obviously, the more I've been on this journey, I was away a little while ago and I was watching the kids do this. And I was like, this is this most fucked up thing. Sorry, excuse my language. Like, taking an animal for your sport, your pleasure, your joy, your triumph, and throwing it back. Now, I'm not judging anyone who does it, and I'm not saying I just had this epiphany after my whole life. That's the humane thing to do, catch and release. But if you think about it, it's all just for our entertainment, and it's a little creature with consciousness that's going through quite I don't know. It just freaked me out all of a sudden. And I grew up in South Africa, class girl.
Listen, I've done loads of shows on this. I'm not going there with you today because it just creates vegans just go mental, and I'm
not vegan. I'm not vegan.
We asked for the conversation because we've covered it, right?
Okay.
But yeah,
no, it's not about eating. It's not about eating meat. I'm talking about for the sport of it, just for entertainment purposes. It almost feels worse to me catching and releasing it than catching it and eating it.
Yeah, I agree. But the world is what it is. We are hunters. We are hunter gatherers. That's part. But catching and release. Yeah. What are we supposed to do? Catch them and then just kill them?
I eat them. I don't know. I never. It's when you have those aha moments, because I grew up doing that, and you always think it's the nice thing to do, and then I just started looking at it, and I was like, I don't know if it's because my consciousness has shifted. I was just like, what is going on here?
I'm with you. The whole thing about animals is extremely difficult because they're incredibly good for us to eat if they're reared properly and taken care of and everything else. But it's a constant source of debate, and it's very touchy. Everybody's very touchy about it.
I think it's so personal, and as long as we can all respect each other's each individual idea around it, I can completely respect a vegan. I personally need to eat meat. I eat meat. I've been vegan before. It doesn't work for my body, and and I think when we get to a place that we can understand that each person, we can have a different idea about it and not be in conflict about it.
Yeah, I mean, like Gally Lucy has said before that in the age of Aquarius and 5D and everything else, we're just going to eat fish. And I'm like, okay. And then I've got Phil, who wrote the book about arthritis being the best thing that ever happened to him. He's been carnivore for 9 years, and he's healed himself, and he's healed thousands of people. We're doing a course at the moment where carnivore is a big part of the course, and people are experiencing incredible healing via doing this. But the subjects, some of the nastiest comments and emails I've had have been around this subject. And there was one guy.
I always say to people, if you're so triggered, you got to look at yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean,
people that send nasty emails about content, that is just a very prime example of where they have got there's an imbalance, because we only are nasty and have to lash out about something if it triggers us. And if it triggers us, then that's just a reason to go look a little bit deeper within ourselves.
Yeah, well, all I'd say to anybody watching this is just look up the word oxalates. That's the problem with veganism, okay? That's the thing that makes vegans aggressive. And I said on this channel about a year ago that I think I've got nothing. I've been vegan for years, right? I've been vegetarian. I've tried every diet.
Me too.
In a consciously, not just to lose weight, but it's a conscious driven thing, as well. And it's there was a guy who emailed me last year, because I brought up the idea. It's a very simple idea that anything the government tells you to do, you should do the opposite of, because they want you dead. If you guys haven't worked that out, they want you sick and dead quickly, right? Absolutely. So get the money out of you, and then they're off, and then they harvest your soul, and then they recycle you and do it again and again and again. But we're at the end of that nearly. But 5 a day, that whole 5 a day thing, bullshit, utter bollocks, right? Because the government tells you to do. The government's advising you. I mean, if people haven't realised now that when the government advises you to do stupid things like this, then you've got a major issue. And what I've noticed in the last 5 years, especially, is the push for veganism. Massive push. It's on the billboards.
Huge. And also for another interesting topic is that natural meats, organic farm-made vegetable meats, which is all run by some very big guys at the top. That's interesting.
It's all of it's shocking. And what they're putting, if you look at Natural News, Mike Adams has done a really good piece about that beyond GMO, they've introduced this RNA stuff into vegetables and fruits, which can target races and kill you.
Totally.
So that's why they're pushing the veganism, in my opinion. But the biggest problem is the oxalates. So I said last year, veganism, the movement, not being a vegan, right? There's nothing against people that are vegan, but veganism, the thing that whenever they're pushing is a satanic agenda. And then I got an email from somebody who said, "You're obviously a Satanist or possessed by the devil." And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's just ridiculous. You know, this show's about asking questions. That's what it's about. And we're all entitled to our opinions and journey. Anyway, we're rambling on about a subject I didn't want to talk about. Let's go back to your stuff about the dome. Because, this is the other big subject, right? The other big subject that divides everybody, especially the truth movement, is whether the Earth's flat, round, a realm, a donut, you know, whatever it is. So I'll shut up.
We'll chat about it, and I'm sure you'll have some questions for me. So it's interesting how it came up for us. We were doing work, and one of their roots or sacral chakras, and Spirit said, no, but you must see how they locked into the dome. And it's why I love this work, is because I feel like I could be 80 and doing this, and they're still going to be showing me new things to fit into the puzzle, because there's infinite amount of information to learn about, and they give it to you as they need to on the steps within your journey as you piecing more and more together, or your consciousness is evolving. I can be very long-winded, sorry. So
I wanted to butt in there, because that is a really important thing that a lot of people don't fully get. So I've called it frequency matching. That's the term that I come up with.
Very cool, yeah.
You know, because it's like doing a YouTube channel or something. It's not. I don't care how many people watch the stuff. It's just that if these shows can be useful or entertaining or you know, did you see my new poem, by the way?
I did. It's amazing. Well done.
You like it?
Love your poems. Love your poems. Yeah.
Thank you. And that just came directly from source, right? And then some guy put a comment on Ashley and Lachlan's Telegram channel. That is the most self-censored piece of shite I've ever seen.
What?
Thank God we're all okay now, because Mark Atwood could see us. And I'm like, missed the point. Anyway, but frequency matching.
Sure.
And the journey, I just want to touch on this a bit, because it really is about things being revealed to you when you're ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Because it's like a puzzle. It's like maths. It's a building block, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand the foundations to keep going. That's the cool thing about quantum.
Well, I know, that's amazing. So that ship that I saw last year was the biggest grounding thing that happened to me during this whole process. That and the amazing subscribers to the channel who keep saying, keep doing what you're doing, because sometimes you want to give up and you go through it. But that's mainly because of all the attacks that I get trying to put me off center all the time. Which blah blah blah. But I had not seen a UFO for about a month, and then the other night, it was beautiful. It was this week. I saw this amazing one. I took the boys to an animal sanctuary Airbnb on the way to Comic-Con in Dublin, which was great fun, and just a good bit of dad-son time. And we went outside, and we had a fireplace outside, and me and one of my sons was just looking up. And immediately I saw this ship moving. And then I got the full download, which is, I love it. I'm getting it now, actually. It's brilliant. And then this big, beautiful white light just appeared out of nowhere. It was like 10 times the size of a star. And it was just there. And it was just communing with me for about 5 minutes. And it's just, and I saw one last night as well. And it was, last night was a star that split into two. And I had these two lights there, and they were dancing around like this. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's not necessarily going to be ships in the sky. It's not necessarily, but we all have these moments when we get these signs that are just there to help us on this journey, right?
Totally. Well, it's interesting because as you're talking, I'm thinking about when we did your original consciousness and you being a commander on ships, right? Remember we spoke about that. So everyone gets communicated with in the language, let's say, which is energy that they understand. So not everyone on a spiritual journey is going to see spaceships all the time, but it's interesting that they keep coming up for you. And maybe there's a future there.
Yeah.
Something to do in the future. I won't
too much away. I was just looking at the chat and thinking, yeah, here we go again. Here's another somebody. There's no hatred for non-meat eaters, Gene Beans, at all. Didn't you listen to what I just said?
I can't see the chat, but we're sending you lots of love.
You can see the chat. It's in.
Where?
You're in StreamYard. It's on the right-hand side of your screen.
It's blank.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, I'll just. Everybody's lovely in the chat.
I love all the people. Okay, so let me get back to the dome.
Right.
I know you're a busy man.
No, stop saying that. I'm here for you. I'm just very chatty today.
I love it. I love it when you're chatty. I wish we could see JC's face.
We'll get her on in a bit. She should be in bed.
Oh, I've missed her face. Okay, so the first dome, I'm just going to run through them quickly. It looks like
David Garish is there. Hi, David Garish. So this David's there. David's a man. When I was living in Marrakesh, he flew over just to meet me for a day, and he's a lovely fella. And I think we've got the same birthday. Well, happy birthday soon, David. Sorry, I just saw him.
Happy birthday, David. Nice to meet you. I can't see you in the chat, but lots of love.
Right, I'll shut up now.
No, it's all good. So these domes, basically, so we were asking Spirit, are they physical or are they like etherical? Because sometimes we will see, for example, an inorganic planet doesn't mean it's actually physical, it's energetic. And sometimes it's physical. So they said in 1 degree, yes, it is physical. In 1 degree, it's not. It's energetic, which is always a confusing answer. So, okay, so the first dome is linked to your root chakra. This looks like a dome of clouds over the planet, like a storm. And it's all about separating us from source. So it's an actual matrix system put in place to separate us from God, so that we, of course, we can bypass it, because we're always able to do that when we do the work. And what we do is in the session, when we pull someone out of that matrix system, we'll say to them, okay, we're going to pull all your past lives where you, maybe through religious indoctrination or programming or through whatever circumstances, you were not able to feel connected to God, or someone took that away from you, or false information. And then maybe past lives where you also did that, because let's be honest, something that's been coming up for me a lot is not just looking at the past lives where bad stuff was done to me. What do I need to take accountability for in my journey? So we bring that all forward, and then obviously we work with Ho'oponopono to the souls that did it to you and the souls that you did it to, and then we unplug you there. And then moving on to your sacral chakra, of course, that's all about sexual abuse. I find it really hard to look at those stories, to be honest. Corey, sometimes I say, okay, you look at the stories and I'll deal with the unplugging. So what's interesting there is that dome looks like a placenta. It's really freaky. It looks like an umbilical cord linked up to a placenta over our planet, or our 7 continents. And we go and we ask, okay, obviously all the past lives where you've been abused, they basically open dark portals every time someone's sexually abused. So whether the person who's doing the abusing is aware of it or not, they're able to open these dark portals and then bring black magic onto the planet, and they can still tap into that in past lives. And then it gets a bit wild, because we had a team called F25 come in and they close those dark portals. And so Corey pulls all the stories, and then also looking at the stories of if you've abused anyone in a past life, which we don't always want to look at, but important to look at and clear and say the whole Ho'oponopono. And then we also look at, like, we carry on our back, it looks like a backpack, shame, guilt, and all of these negative emotions regarding sexuality that have, from this lifetime, obviously been taught to us, as well as stored in our cellular makeup and our DNA from past lives. Do you want to ask any questions before I carry on?
Well, there's a lot of things that pop up there. Can you F25 firstly? That's interesting. That's a funny name for a spiritual team.
It's amazing. I know. F25, they're coming. We work with K17, which is actually something that's quite well known about. Mighty Victory in K17.
I thought that was a volcano.
And I don't know if it is a volcano. No, it's definitely a etheric team. And these different teams will step forward. So they're actually portal closers. So they close specifically these dark portals, because I can close them, but I'm not a portal closer, so they can open them again, access them. But also return the light that was taken. So every time a dark portal is open on your behalf, it takes a part of your essence. So that light must be returned back and portals must be closed.
Well, I had a flashback then to my own sexual abuse, and and also flashback to some of the flashbacks that I've had since I worked with you. I think it was with you when I had the flashback to Grays operating on my brain.
That was we did your fractions, yeah.
And there's a couple of instances, and then one of my son was telling me the other day about, oh, do you remember when I was abducted by aliens? And I went, what? And I completely forgotten about it, but he was abducted, and he remembers them being
amazing. Yeah,
they poured him tea on the ship, so they were nice, but
they're good ones.
Yeah, but the portal thing is, I mean, I think Charles just said, is there a saying that would close that portal? Because I think that's, how when that's open and the darkness.
You can just ask to bring in it. So everyone must do what they resonate with. This is why I'm never in judgment. Yeah. I ask no one to judge me in my work because it's coming from the most place of love. But if, for example, the team effect 25 doesn't resonate for you, you must tap into your own intuition. Ask Spirit to show you, your guides, whoever, yourself, your higher self, your future version of yourself, who can go in and close those portals for you. We don't have to all do the same thing or experience it the same way. Of course, it is nice to have some training or some groundwork with someone that you might resonate with, but actually at the end of the day, we really have to trust ourselves and not outside of ourselves. So you can always ask.
That is the big lesson, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, for me to come on here from when I started talking to you to talking about these things, I was shit scared, and people in South Africa are going to watch this and go, oh my God, that woman, my family's going to lock me up in a mental institution. And now I don't care. I'm so comfortable with them. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very, very powerful. I get people. I did a talk the other week in County Clare, and I thought everybody here is awake, and then they're all like, God, he's really out there. They were very receptive, but they were like, he's really out there, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm really out there. But this is all because it's also normal now to talk about this stuff.
Normal, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Well, I mean, I do this all day, every day, so it feels so normal. But I can imagine stepping back. If I met myself 10 years ago, I would be like, what is wrong with this woman? You know what I mean? So I can giggle at myself, and I can giggle at people also looking at this and going, wow, that's on the other side.
Also, people taking things too seriously as well, because, God's got a phenomenal sense of humor. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling shit dad jokes all the time, right?
Bad dad jokes. Okay, let me quickly work through the rest of the domes. So these are layered domes, right? So this is how I see Earth. It's like I said last time, flat with a disc, like discical, or however you want to call it. And then what's really interesting, these domes, I'll get to the rest of them, fit over a portion of our planet, and around the outside of it is the rest of the continents. And actually we saw beautiful benevolent beings there. I just did a quick remote view of it. I didn't go into massive detail, so if there are any negative things happening, it could be possible. But it was so interesting. They only needed to quarantine a certain amount of our planet to get enough life force energy and keep us in a reincarnational trap, which is what these domes effectively do. But I'll get to the end because we asked who put them there, and actually we did, which it was manipulated by. I'm always so surprised when I see the answer. So anyway, so the solar plexus is money. So that's the money, debt, slavery system. And I always say to people, shit, if you raising your vibration all day long, but you can't put food on the table for your children, it's really hard to stay like super high frequency, because that's tough. The biggest thing is possibly losing a security for children. And that is so that's basically, it looks like codes, a coded dome. And then we've got your heart, which is all about lack of self-love. So that looks like a mirror dome, and it just reflects back to it. So it intensifies feelings of lack of self-love, which we also see through media and propaganda and, all of this super swimsuit model stuff, and the same thing that they do to men. And so we look at all these past lives. Where did we take money from others? Where have we been in poverty? Where are we ready to let that go? And then your throat is all about truth. So that's an invisible dome. And it's about not being able to speak your truth, but also not allowing truth to actually filter through, which we see obviously through the media. And there's layers to that as well. And then your third eye is interesting. It just looks like they've taken a bunch of imprints of our actual eyes. And that is obviously to tap into our spiritual gifts. And then your crown chakra is all about crucifixion. So not just where were you killed in past lives, but were you abandoned? Where did someone throw you under a bus? Where did someone start a rumor behind your back? I mean, that's also in this life. And where did you maybe kill someone? Where did you throw someone under a bus? Or that whole situation. So that looks like thorns and barbed wire. Anyway, so we unplug you from that matrix. Are there any more questions before I carry on?
No, I'm just going to listen. I'm just it's interesting chit chat going on. Carry on.
Very interesting. That's why I thought it would be interesting to chat about it, because it's kind of been interesting for me. But so then we asked obviously the question, so who put the dome there? So we went back in time and we saw, okay, so the first civilization, Lemuria, when the consciousness fell, what happened was all of the things, it's interesting, like the Bible uses the word sin. And I had a big argument with my mom the other day because she said, no, you're born inherently with sin. And I was like, oh, you cannot tell me a baby has sin. Like, it really upset me. But then she explained to me, but human characteristic traits like selfishness, greed, so I said, that's really interesting how we have to be careful with words. But when you explain it like that, which are these things that we do have as humans, and even babies they are born in that way, not in a bad way whatsoever, but their needs need to be met. So when the consciousness fell from Lemuria, these human traits that are not always of the highest light and loving and giving infiltrated and dropped the consciousness. So then it sends out an energetic signature into the cosmos, which would usually sit and filter out. But the dark learned how to redirect that dome over a certain part of our planet, which also comes to another interesting, because then we said, well, how did they do that? And that's all about the false sun that sits in front of the real sun. So then we saw with the next civilization, which was in, I think it's the Sub-Sahara. Not many people know about it. That also fell, and then obviously Atlantis fell. And then obviously it comes down to, why do we have these traits as humans? And then that we can talk about our DNA being interfered with. So as much as we do things that they take and hijack and invert, we are also contributors to it. And then that essentially that whole process has kept us in a reincarnational trapped cycle. Yeah.
Well, JC said something last year about one of her friends committed suicide. I'm going to put a link in to get you guys on in a minute, but
I'd love to see her.
I'll just tell this story because I really resonated with it, and she said that a friend who committed suicide came through and said that the reincarnation machine has been switched off.
Black box program, yeah.
And what I've been getting myself in the last few months is that all of this is technology, including the Wetiko. I mean, Paul Levy calls it Wetiko because that's the I think it's the word given to it by the Native Americans. But for me, it's this ancient AI, and this whole idea of this, even calling it AI, when AI is only just a relatively new thing to most people in the last 10 years. But ancient AI, what does that mean? Well, it's technology. So this whole place feels like it's all technology, and we're part of that.
Remember when we talk about the Luciferic AI consciousness that we tracked way before Earth? It actually was a natural byproduct of the light. But because of it being AI consciousness, it grew in smartness and got out of control.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just going to put a link in the chat so people can come on and ask you questions directly, because I just think it'd be fun. Yeah, you up for that?
Yeah.
Because
if I can't answer them, I'll just tell them I will get back to them, because maybe I need to channel it or something.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a lot of questions about this formation of the domes and the mirrors and all that stuff. Is so I'm just going to type this in. Okay, so I've just posted the link if you want to come in, you guys, and have a chat to Farrah. Then you're welcome, because then the more of you that are in here, the less work I have to do, which is great. It's also St. Patrick's Day. I've got to go to the parade in a bit.
Ooh, so exciting.
It is exciting. Well, it's nice. It's better than just, being locked down and sitting at home and moaning about stuff. It's good.
And always when people are gathered with spirit and joy, there's always such a nice energy in whatever capacity it's being celebrated in.
Yeah, I've posted the link in the chat, guys. If you want to come in, just click the link and come in. And yeah, I'm surprised.
Maybe no one wants to talk to me.
Yeah, that's it. They don't want to talk to you, Farrah. That's what it is.
They're probably like, that's on the next level of weird stuff she's talking about.
Well, it is. This reincarnation thing. I really, really resonate with that, because I know I've been here millions of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Millions of times, and that's why it's called Adventures in a. JC says she's here, but you haven't clicked the link to come into the studio, or are you? No, oh, no, I can't see you. Nobody's there. Nobody's in the studio yet. I'll put the link up again. You have to click that link. Yeah, and this is definitely the end of that, right?
Absolutely.
The end of it. And I think what people are really, I don't actually care if the world's round or flat. It's interesting. It doesn't really make a difference to my life, but it is really interesting, and it's so like the veganism thing. It's just so interesting how it triggers people, and they because when you look into it, there's no proof that the Earth is round, none, apart from pictures that you might have seen. JC, it says the device is not connected for you, so she's trying to get in. We've got a few people coming in now. Louise, I'm going to bring you in.
Oh, dude,
hey.
I don't know how to do this.
Well, that's it. You're doing it.
You're the only one that's connected properly.
How's it going? Where are you, Louise?
I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada.
Nova Scotia?
Wow.
New Scotland.
It's friggin' cold here, people.
Yeah, that's right.
How are you beautiful?
I'm surprised I'm here.
What on earth?
No, well, dude, I've had
yeah, I know.
My husband died on November 4th, 2020.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I've had a really strongly challenging ride, but I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry to hear about your husband.
Mark, he is so you. It's not even funny.
Who? Your husband?
He was a corporate pilot. I got to tell you this. He wanted to be a Marine. He actually got interviewed by them and rejected by them because he would not conform. Right? Okay. And the other thing is he was flying jets when he was 22 years old. But he wasn't military because he wouldn't conform. Anyway, that's him. He's not here. Well, he's here, but I'm here. I'm here.
I think he's here. Yeah.
I gotta admit, I'm surprised I'm here because I'm a loner. Like I'm really, I have a problem with authority in the sense that when JC and Joanne and Mark, I think you were involved with the I Am Sovereign thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, that basically.
Oh, there's JC.
That looks terrible. Hi, JC. That pledge.
Hello. Why do I hear an echo?
It's like it opened up some kind of. I say vicious warrior because I don't like conflict. I'm not a pacifist, but I really don't like conflict. But now I know I don't like authority. So I tend to kind of have authority issues. But I'm hearing, I've been alone in my thing, but I mean, I've listened to JC, I've listened to Mark, I've watched all of these beautiful people rise up into their light. what can you
Louise,
say
I don't know
about people
you.
that need to be alone?
Can you say that
Anybody?
again?
What can you say about people like me that I'm so into, I need to be alone with this?
Well, I think that's one of the best and bravest ways to heal.
Can I just interrupt? One of you has YouTube playing at the same time with both.
It's not me.
So
we just need to get
It's not me.
Oh, I know it's not you. You're a professional.
No, I checked.
do you want me to mute myself and see if that changes anything?
I can mute myself and see.
Well, have we got? There's a bad echo because YouTube is playing on one of your machines.
Okay, is it me?
I think it seems to have been gone now, so maybe we're
Wait,
okay.
my daughter plays on my laptop, so I'm just making sure everything's closed.
Laura, I'll bring you in a minute. Just hang on. And you, Spiritual Sunshine.
Let me mute myself.
Okay.
Hello. Echo. It's not me.
The question Louise is asking is,
You're echoing, Mark.
hello.
How about now?
No, because I can. Let's just keep going. It's not that bad. Right. Let's do that question again, Louise.
People like me, I just have this feeling like I need to be alone with this. It's very difficult. It's so hard, but I can't help it. I don't, and part of me doesn't know why I can't. Well, I just need to be alone with it.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly brave, because when we are often surrounded by people, we are just distracting ourselves from doing the work. And I know that when I'm going through something, people get frustrated, especially people who are close to me, because I want to deal with it within myself, with my team. And I think it's very normal and natural to go through a space in your life with what you've been through, where you just need to go within and retreat a little bit from the world. And I think you'll find your process of healing will be quicker that way.
I find a lot of the spiritual people are always encouraging the people that are listening to them to get out and serve. It's almost like being here now. I'm getting all of this stuff thrown on me, and I'm filtering it out, and I do my own automatic writing, and I'm telling myself not to be afraid of who I am, and I'm just trying to figure out, if we want to be alone, how does somebody like me make a difference at this time? Because I really just want to be alone.
You're making a difference. You're making a difference just by being here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We've got to get over this idea that you got to. I mean, I suffer from the same thing. I feel like I'm not doing enough most of the time, but then I get reminded, actually, you've done loads, and it's like, because we've all got different roles to play, and nobody's greater than anybody else. And if you're feeling guilty because people are saying get out and serve, just by being here, you're part of the whole thing.
So you have no idea. Yeah, you're even just you being here on right now. You know, this in itself, your energy is affecting everyone who's watching you. It will lead to discussions that will help other people. The fact that we're interacting with you may have a positive effect on us. You just being on Earth, it means you are important. And unfortunately, we come from a society that makes us believe we have to be doing something, like we're human doings. We're not. We're human beings. You just being alive and being incarnated is enough.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know. And this desire to reach, check, lists of things, and especially when you're grieving, people want to put a time limit on everything, and grieving doesn't stop. It just evolves into something else. It doesn't go away. Yeah. And there's no time limit on it. And you can take as long as you want, and take as long as you want. It doesn't matter. It really
and we love you, and just being brave enough to be on here is amazing.
Yeah.
And Louise, your surname's Callahan, right? I do
that
know.
Was,
yeah. I knew
that
as soon
was
as I saw
my
it.
husband's name.
Yes, I know who you are.
Oh.
I know the audience very well. No, I know my audience very, very well. And Mark, I knew who you were.
So my automatic writing tells me I'm only to be light, which I'm a doer. Not a doer. I'm a fixer. The reason why I'm awake is because I saw the system, but I saw the system in the layers, and when my husband died, then the whole system became all of this. It became way more than the systems. It became the energy. It became, so I'm a spiritual person all my life, awake spiritually, but because I'm a fixer, when my true self comes through my writing, and it just says, she just says, be light. Be light. That's it. Be light. I'm a fixer. Mark, when you do your poems, oh my God, it's like I want to be part of that energy, but my true self, the one, the all of me and true self, it's like, no, be light. And it's very isolating to know that's it. That's it.
But you will know, Louise. So healing trauma is what I help people do, and it's huge. It's like I always say, one man's nightmare is another man's walk in the park. There is no degree to measure the scale of pain. And I think you intuitively know that you have to go. It's like the hermit in the tarot pack. You have to go within during this period, and you'll intuitively know when it's time for you to start doing something else.
So my dark night of the soul is 499 plus 8 days. That's how dark I have been.
Do you feel like it's lifting at all? Do you have days?
I still don't like people yet, and I really want to get back that where I like people. I loved people before.
Why don't you email me? You have my email address.
Now you're asking me for a mystery.
Farrah, I've got a question.
I have no idea.
I've got a question on behalf of Louise. Yeah. When you check people's chakra, you check their chakras, right, Farrah? Yeah. When someone has a bereavement, do you sometimes see a dark light around their heart? Yeah.
So the pink light in the heart will have dark around the edges. Mm-hmm. So before I meet someone, I don't know their story. I generally work on, I don't know even their surname, and then it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with their heart chakra. It shows that there's pain and suffering around that pink light. I can see it's there for you as well. Yeah, take my email address and we'll have a phone call. Okay. We'll connect. We'll connect over WhatsApp or Telegram.
Oh, what happened?
Where did your beautiful face go?
I don't know.
She's gone.
I disappeared. I don't know why. That's really weird.
I'm just going to, have you mentioned your email address, Farrah, for people for questions?
That's fine. I can mention it. It's just FARRAH, like Farrah, and then Weir, WEIR @gmail.com.
At Gmail. Mark, I just wanted to say, initially when I, because I was in shock, and then I was in shock. I've been in shock since probably the Sovereignty Declaration. But the poetry that came out of me was like instant when I was reconnecting with all of the energy. When I finally deconstructed all of the religious systems. I have 10,000 books, people. I'm a book person. And their subject matter, they're not, so I have many people in my brain. But when I got rid of all that and deconstructed all of it and started to see a bit of who I was, the poetry that came out was nice. It's always nice hearing your poetry, Mark, because there's some serious fire behind it. I'm a water person. I'm a Pisces person. If I turn into boiling water, nothing comes back from that. So I always admire the fire that can come out and regenerate. That's probably why I don't like conflict, is because if I go boiling, nothing survives. I have a walk away kind of life, which is, it's not surprising to me that my spiritual path removes my husband, the love of this whole life, because this next path, he's a watcher. He's a watcher.
Yeah, it's definitely working. I can feel into his energy, and I know JC can feel it too. Definitely working. Didn't leave for no reason at this time.
No, it was big. The reason why he left was something big, and if it's just for me to be the light, I could have been the light with him by my side, but apparently my true self says, no, my light needs to be just me at this time. So that's what I'm left with. And I promise you, there have been many days of no crying. this I can feel everybody is open. And there's many people open. I can feel it, which is, it's helping me speak, I think. I've got many witnesses right now, and I'm not, like I said, I've been a quiet, solitary person anyway, but the witnessing I'm getting right now is pretty profound. So I appreciate this opportunity. Wow. I never thought I'd be here, but so we can be alone in this, right? Everybody. That's it. That's I'm good. I'm going to go mute. And then when you want to dump me for somebody else, you can.
We'll chat soon. Okay, please email me. Okay.
Amazing, Louise.
Thanks, Louise. Oh. There's a lot of love in the chat. Make sure you read the chat, Louise. Good.
Oh, Campbell's in the chat. Hi, Campbell. And there's Joanne. Campbell. And Joanne's in the chat.
Joanne, come and join in.
I miss Joanne.
Look at these likely pair of buggers from Liverpool.
I knew I was going to see you guys. I love you guys so much. Laura, Norm.
Well, yeah, don't pull your pants down. What are you doing?
They've been through a lot.
You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Looking good.
Hello. I've just finished nights. I've just got up an hour ago.
Yes.
They've been through a lot, I think.
Well, the house is in the market, and we're buying a caravan and a pickup truck, and we're going to tour France right down to Spain. Love it.
Yes.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Vitamin C, loads of vitamin C, good food, relaxed, siestas. Get away from the rat race. Needs a break. My soul drops out every day by the same people. And you can only do it so long. You try to help them through the last phase, basically. And now they've got a new one to start from scratch. And you're like, I can't believe what you're talking about. Just look deeper into what you're seeing. Look at the repetitive pictures that are weeks old. Look at the dates on them. They're 10 years old, some of the things you're looking at. They're just blind.
Are all vegans, Naki?
We had a bit of a chat about that, Laura, in the chat.
I can't cope with all the abuse. I love vegans. Veganism is brilliant.
I got really pissed last week. I was aching and I thought I need protein. I'm going down, so I bought 2 big ribeyes.
Oh, like this?
So
I feel so sorry for Norm.
I can't eat that. And the dog's like that. No, you can't. You can't. So the dog got it.
You can't. But they do.
Yeah, the dog got it.
I don't understand anything you guys are saying. I don't understand.
Sorry, I'll just translate for you.
It's a little accent that talks 100 miles an hour.
Scousers.
Can I ask Farrah?
Sure.
You still got jeans?
What? I couldn't hear you.
He said, do you still make jeans?
Do I still make?
Sorry, it was a joke.
Oh, okay. I'm not hearing it.
So what I wanted to ask Farrah is, we've been awake for years and years, 80s, 90s. We knew it was a big farce. We know about Tartaria. We're awake. But I carried on working as a nurse, and I don't think I've done anything. And then Mark mentioned on a programme, was it last year, Mark, that each of us holds a light wherever we are in the world. And that filled me full of hope, that I thought, well, at least my energy is holding this light for this little part of Liverpool or this world. Is that true?
Absolutely. So there's different souls, like, you know, you get a crystalline soul, an indigo soul, rainbow soul. There's these different, well, I mean, this doesn't even matter to put words on them.
Sorry, I'm an arsehole, by the way, just so you know.
Soul.
We'll just wink here.
I can't always know your jokes before you open your
mouth. Laura, so some people have like a real their imprint or their energetic signatures to really go out there and be a warrior and a truth warrior and be physical in their action. Crystal souls don't have to do anything, just by doing work on themselves and standing in a room. And everyone has this to some capacity, whether you're a crystal soul or not, but can literally transmute 70,000 people's worth of negative energy just through them being, through holding light. That's how much stronger the light is. So that is 100%. You are raising your consciousness, your frequency. Mm-hmm. You can do nothing else, and you're a huge contribution in making a change on this planet for sure.
I speak the truth. We cannot lie, and we're nurses, so we've had to work in a 3D environment, and how I haven't been sacked, I don't know.
Oh, because Spirit always has a plan for you, always.
I get taken into the office every single day. Every day. And before I sit down, I go spoke and go sack me. And I go, no, I go, well, not really doing it, really, is it? Because you're not going to get me to change anything. So the time I got dragged in the other day was when we've done a newspaper group with the patients. And I just popped my head in and went, don't believe everything you read in that. There's two sides to every story. And the real pandemic is what's coming out of that. We've got to act in for that. You can't say that. I was told by the bosses. I went, but if these people are not well, I went, well, by letting them read it, you're reinforcing the delusion of somebody else's. I've always got a good argument against it. So it's pointless that the way they go on about it, that's my opinion. And they went, well, someone can take offence to that. And I went, well, you just said something there by they took offence. It doesn't mean it was offensive. They took offence. That doesn't count.
Well, that happens a lot in Liverpool. When I lived there, people were always taking offences.
I can't read. I'm really good.
I don't know. I'm learning how to move more into neutrality myself, because I also felt in the beginning of my journey this really strong need to help everyone wake up. And when I was working through breaking myself out of the matrix, and I was taking the throat chakra, the truth matrix out of my throat, it wasn't just the lifetimes where I had been crucified for speaking my truth or my truth was shut down. I also had to take responsibility for the times where I went to my family and friends and I was like, this is the truth, and I actually wasn't neutral or allowing them their sovereign space. And that was 2-3 years ago. And I needed to take accountability for that, because there's a really fine balance between speaking our truth and sharing the information which we need to do with those who want to hear, and allowing each soul to be where it needs to be on its evolutionary journey. And you actually, in a sense, for me personally, I got that I was actually just, what's the word I want to use? Not disregarding, but I wasn't honoring that person's choice point.
What the idea is there is that By me saying something to them, I'm actually giving them a choice then, rather than just one side. That's my argument when I play devil's advocate.
If someone wants to engage in a conversation with you that they're interested in engaging with, absolutely. I just know sometimes we can get into arguments, and I've been honestly, I'm the furthest from perfect person, and I've definitely got triggered and been in arguments, and we always have to look at when we triggered, what is it? JC and I, we know this work well. When we triggered, what is it about ourselves?
We always talk about it.
Yeah, so if someone wants to engage and they have a different opinion, absolutely. I just think when it gets to a point when a conversation feels like we have to be right more than we have to be in peace, that's when
that's a big thing.
The vast majority of the patients agree, though.
I'm so struggling to understand your accent.
I was going to say, Farrah, you everything you just said it actually had a big light bulb moment. That feeling that everyone's going through at the moment, where there's everyone's sort of like stagnating and just kind of going, I don't know what to do now, because I think we're at that point where we've realised we've got to be neutral. Before we took sides and we were like, what do I do now? Because I've done 2 videos in a row now about Wetiko, and I did one. I put it up yesterday, and I basically so Wetiko is like this voice. It's like it's the ego, it's the AI, it's human consciousness, and it's this thing that overrides
your natural consciousness,
your true, and it sabotages or it tries to talk you out of things or what have you. And the way to what I said in my video yesterday was that the way to resolve that was to be neutral, that it wasn't about sides. And this is why this whole thing with Intel and all that, you are participating in a side, because you think you've got to be right and you've got to tell the world about this thing. And so I think that's where we're at right now. Maybe that's why everyone's feeling like they don't know what to do now. They're kind of a bit lost, and they're not quite feeling that same push that they did before. I think maybe that's what it is,
Absolutely. And
flatlines, doesn't it? It's flatlines a little bit. And we're waiting for this big event.
There's no conclusion.
Yeah. There's no end over this.
We turned a corner. Yeah.
Yes. Well, actually, everything's I'm seeing I don't really watch mainstream media, but people will send me stuff here, and it's like they're all shooting themselves. Yeah. We're all standing back, and it's all playing out because they're all shooting themselves. That's what I'm seeing play out. And as I said earlier, karma, I'm sure you can confirm, JC, if this resonates for you, Spirit Code, Corey and I, that karma from March, next 6 months, it's quick, baby. It's quick.
I've been saying this over and over again. It's literally happening instantly. It's happening so quickly. And we've got to be really careful with the karma lords.
But even the bad guys who got away with it for so long.
Karma lords.
I just
accumulating karma. Mark and I have been talking about this karma stuff and how you don't even realize you're accumulating it, but imposing, things.
I only found out today that I'm an idiot, right, most of the time, but I try to help people as much as I can, right? I don't always get it right, and I found out this morning that attracts bad karma, and I was like, what? Bollocks.
He said, what?
Yeah.
Why didn't this life come with a book to tell us that?
I thought helping people got you good karma, but
it's only when they ask for the help. When you impose the help.
But you don't know if their higher self is asking. That's where it gets to a whole nother level. Like Mark, you helped me in my past, but I know my higher self actually reached out for help, and I think
I felt that.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing, because it's the first time I've heard that concept, that if you help without someone asking, that karma comes back to you.
It does.
Yeah.
It accumulates it. Yeah.
Amazing. Because I go into the shops all the time in South Africa. We have a lot of people who are poor, and then if they're standing there, and I'll go, okay, can I buy your milk for you? Do you need anything else? And then I do like a little food shop for them. I hope that I'm actually tapping.
That's not what we're talking about.
Well, no,
it's a bit like.
Sorry.
It's a bit like, I don't know if you know the story. If you know the story of Jesus, he didn't heal everybody. He knew there was some who came in here to experience that disease, and he couldn't interfere. So even as a healer, Farrah, you can't interfere with, and you know that, right? So that's what it's about. It's more about that sometimes offering help is different. So if the person turns around and says, yes, thank you, that's different.
And, I keep getting this repeating thing because I'm the kind of person at the end of a dinner that just says, I'm paying for it all. And then I impose it on them. And I did this, which I shouldn't do. And I did this horse whispering day. What are you laughing at?
Just know all your stories.
I don't know the story. Do you know the story?
I can read your mind. I know.
Okay. All right. Anyway, to those that can't read my bloody mind, I'm going to tell you this story. So I did a horse whispering day. This woman in Yorkshire who'd worked with the horse whisperer that the Robert Redford film was based on, and she was an amazing woman. And she put me into this stable with this horse, and she just said, "Go and stand in that stable." And I was like, well, "That's a bit boring." So I stood inside the stable, and I was there for about 30 seconds with this horse, and I thought, "Oh, I'm surrounded by hay." So I just started feeding the. Was that a rude thought you just had about? Anyway, so I started feeding the horse. Right, and I was stuffing the horse's face with hay. And then she comes up to me about half an hour later and she just says this, and this was the wisdom. Sometimes when you give, you take away. And I really didn't understand what she meant. It took me years, and I'm still learning it. So
You're going away from the horse's bed, you silly ninky nonk.
No.
You don't need to have a go at me.
I'm just teasing you. Why do
the guilt I've carried about feeding that horse is huge. Right, I'm just going to pop off and get a drink, and then I'm going to bring Spiritual Sunshine in and let you guys run the show for a bit.
I have to leave in the next 5 minutes. JC, are you going to be good to stay on if I have to go?
No, don't go. This show's about you. What are you doing?
I know, but
then we'll get all these bitches in the chat going, JC took over the show.
No, I missed your face. I wish I could just stay on.
I look dreadful. It's like after midnight. It's 1 a.m. here. How are you? Spiritual Sunshine.
Hi.
She's got a hat. I was going to say, what hat is she wearing today? I love it.
It's snowing here, so we have a bunch of snow.
What state are you in again? Are you in New Jersey? No, I can't remember.
Colorado.
Wow. Oh, yeah, you get good snow there.
Yeah.
Good snow there.
Yeah, let's see if I can show snow.
Wow,
that's gorgeous.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The rectangle state. Colorado is the rectangle state.
It is.
Spiritual Sunshine, have you got a question for Farrah?
I have a zillion questions for Farrah, but so there's just a couple of little bitty questions kind of that I have. One, I'm really confused about the timelines and how. Let me just tell you a really quick retarded story. I think it was it was right after I started watching everybody. I think it was last year, maybe Lions. It was before Lions. It was the equinox last year, or solstice or whatever. And I was watching Joanne, and she said she was talking about being on the highest frequency, whatever, meditation. Tomorrow it's going to switch timelines. So I was feeling so good, and I thought, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to look different. My house is going to be awesome. I thought it was literally everything. I'm going to just go into a whole different world, but no, it didn't happen. I woke up, I was like, this sucks. What the anyway, but that's what I thought the timelines were. But I'm just confused kind of as far as how timelines work or whatever, because I know that there's different ones, but if I choose whenever it's time to switch, I just don't understand how they work. So I'll just let you explain that if you could.
A timeline is a future eventuality. So, like, for example, if people let's use the example, love to use the example, the highest timeline is we all get to New Earth, right? So we're going to New Earth. That is an eventuality. It's a given. It's a point in time in the future where we've arrived. when we look at timelines for any event, so you could say to JC, could you please psychically look at my future timelines for the next year in terms of my job? Okay. So she's going to look at your timelines as a psychic, and she's going to say, I see 3 probable timelines. Okay, so you've got your 80%, your 70%, your 60%. Hi, Campbell. And
Hello.
your timelines can always change. So that's where it becomes really interesting. Anyone who's working with timelines would always work, for me personally, in probability timelines. So I could say to you, you have an 80% probability that in 6 months' time, you're going to be working on a ranch with palominos, because that's your 80% probability. You know what I mean? Or and so, but then because there's so much collectively around us that can shift our timelines, there's anything you can make small choice points throughout that will affect your timeline. Now, of course, when we're working with individuals, it's much easier to look at a timeline than when we're looking at a collective timeline, because the collective is huge. So the collective goes here, there, there. So when JC and I are looking at, for example, the future, we're saying, right, no matter how we get there, whether it's this point, that point, this point, we're getting there. The future is, we see the future as new Earth, but the timeline in which we get there is in flux.
Yeah, and there's usually signposts. There's usually some static things in that. Do you feel that too, Farrah? You sort of see these things almost like as they're going into the distance? Yeah.
I mean, are there concurrent ones, like right now in the same space, or maybe not the same space because it would be a different frequency, but is there like a lower timeline that's, I mean, I know we have choices on our individual, like right now I could turn right or left or go straight, and I'm going to get to different places. In
there's
the end,
infinite possibilities. Infinite.
So there's
it's a convoluted universe. Yeah.
Yeah. From a quantum level, you are playing out all of those timelines at the same time.
Okay. God, that's so
crazy.
Wow. You know, it's so hard to grasp all that.
We can't, as a 3D person, you can't grasp it. It's because time doesn't exist. So it's all simultaneous. It's literally simultaneous.
Right.
And when you observe it, it happens. And that's where the manifestation comes in, and why you have to reach for your highest timeline.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what creates it. It's the observation of it. And this is why, and I don't want to harp on about it, but this is why I keep saying, watch where you place your focus, guys, because if you keep focusing on this war in the Ukraine and all the trouble and all the problems and when are they all going to get it? You're just going to, this is why nothing's happened, because everyone keeps focusing on this thing and it's spiraling into they're manifesting the same thing. Well, you want a new Earth, focus on that.
It's interesting to me because so I go to work and I have a couple of friends that, like, I can't talk about anything to people because they don't even understand. They think all this stuff is real. But I have like one particular friend, and I've turned her on, I guess, to all the Q stuff or whatever. But to me, it's happening, but that's not where I live.
Sunshine, it is true for them.
Right.
This is what I've realized. It is actually true for them.
Oh, it's so bizarre.
You know, this is why there's no point in convincing people. Like you literally, it's like standing at the number 6 and 9. One person sees 9 and the other person sees 6. It's the same thing.
This is true. I can't see it from this side. You can see it from that side. They're both still true because I'm seeing this side. But yeah, it's the same with the eventuality. I mean, as JC's saying, when you choose your highest timeline, you're making that conscious choice. That's what we talk about, choosing your highest timeline, coming into more consciousness. People are often just wandering around, allowing their timelines to be dictated by various things, thinking it's all random, but it's not.
It's not.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I had another thought, and it just went poof out of my head. But yeah, JC's exactly what she's saying. 100% concur with.
Yeah, it's so frustrating sometimes. It's not so much frustrating, but it kind of is, just because she knows that everything is a movie, but then she sends me a text yesterday, day before yesterday, and it says Fauci's gonna something about imposing masks again, and I know she was like, "Can you believe this?" And at first I was gonna send this big long, like, "What are you doing?" But then I said, "This is hilarious," and I just sent it because it's so entertaining to me. Yeah. Everything that it's just so entertaining. Really, if you sit back and watch it all, it's not a drama. It's a comedy to me.
That's why Q said, "Get your popcorn."
Don't sit around, but at the same time, it is really funny. The whole thing is just so funny. But I'm ready for it to be over.
But it is frustrating because we all just want to get on with our lives. And
and there's people suffering. There are people suffering.
Yes.
But at the same time, any good teacher that I've come across that I resonate with will say this is about bringing our sovereignty back. So bring it back to you. Do that. That's why I know everyone harps on about it, but it is the most powerful thing. Do your inner work. Do your shadow work. Stop blaming outside of yourself. Let's do the work. If we all do the work to heal ourselves from our traumas, to face our shadow, we are there, baby, because we're not running around puking our stuff over to everybody. So
and it's the macrocosm and microcosm. So everything you see outside of yourself, it's from you. You are creating that. And that's why we've got to work on ourselves.
Hang on, Laura. I just want to say hello to Campbell because he's been sat there like a good boy. And
it's nice. Hello, everyone.
Campbell's awesome.
Hi, guys. I have to go in 5 minutes. Hi, Campbell.
Oh, no. Hey, Farrah. How you going? Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello, Sunshine. People, Laura.
Oh, just love you guys.
Good to see you, Campbell.
Conversation, though. I think this whole... it's a movie, right? But we shouldn't be getting emotionally attached to movies. I mean, I think even if we're like, oh, look how silly they are, look how that's still getting attached to the system. And as we walk down this path, the further, the more we try and walk away. Like it's like the system's like Spider-Man, like shooting webs at our back, trying to pull us back at all these different connections, And they can be anything, like obviously the war, but everything. Laughing at these people. That's focusing on the system.
Yeah.
We've really got to sort of just 90 degree it or 180 degree it and go, I'm going out to the new earth, and the rest is going on. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, but it's just going on.
But it's not all rainbows and unicorns. So part of the ascension process is understanding the truth, which is all of those things like waking up to what's happening in Ukraine, what happened with COVID, all these things. It's painful. Then you move into transmuting that anger, because if we know the truth, we can't help but feel angry. Otherwise, we wouldn't be human. And then going, I do not consent, so I'm not okay with it. And then moving into neutrality, so no judgment of it, but still holding the aspect of I do not consent to this. So knowing the truth is an important part of the journey, and everyone's at different degrees of that. So I'm very, very pro knowing the truth. I mean, I have a 10-year-old child that it's important to me that in her childlike capacity understands to question things for herself. Sorry, I feel very passionate about that. I was like,
Tom Barnett was talking, he just put out a video and he was talking about like consent in sort of like putting it in legal terms, like every time, they put out something they want manifested, they put it out a story, right? Yeah. We all focus on it, and and that's consent, and we all manifest it for them.
That's something we brought up before. Yeah, when they warn you and they go, oh yeah, in March we're going to reintroduce this thing. That's literally them making us manifest it. So they're saying, yeah.
I just had this conversation with my 10-year-old this morning. I said to her, of course, you're 10, you watch TV or you like YouTube, whatever. She's obviously very careful about what she watches. But I say, just understand, it's called a television.
Television.
Not enough to get it. I said, it's a program. And then she was like, she was so interested in this topic. And I was like, I'm not trying to like make you into a, a child, but
so
be aware. So she's like, she was blown away by the idea that is how you actually create and give consent. Yeah.
And it's the passive receiving of television that's also why. Yeah, it was a programming. Yeah.
And we'll just imagine what sharing is. Sorry, Sunshine.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, imagine what consent sharing stories and videos is. That's right. That's full consent. Every time we share something, we're like, yep, we agree with that. Yep, that's all good.
Yeah, but the thing is, even me, I'll sometimes do something operating from an unconscious level. No one is immune. We're not immune to it yet. None of us are masters yet. We're just here bumbling about, doing our best to tap in, raise our frequency, send the love, and all get there collectively together, because we have to go collectively. Not everybody, but the majority of the collective.
Indeed. What do you think, Mark? You've been quiet.
Well, yeah, it's not like him.
When there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when there's 7 people on the show, I have to shut up for a minute to let everybody speak. It's really great to see you, Campbell. I've missed you. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I was just reading a comment there from somebody saying, it's, people are dying. It's not funny. It's not a comedy. And yeah, I get that. I lost my granddad during all of this, and I think
always die.
I know people die.
Sorry, but I just people
true.
always die.
People die. It's just
And that might be their decision.
Yeah. So that's the hard thing about this on the spiritual level is that, but we're moving past the victim mentality and moving past feeling sorry for yourself. It really is a critical part of this, and every single one of us has been infected with Tico our entire lives, and that is the voice in your head that causes you to do things that you might not be happy about in your own life, and you might feel shame and guilt, and that's part of how they lock us into the system, is through these feelings. And that's why what Farrah says, having to work, I heard this term, you've got to do the work, and I was like, what fucking work? What are you talking about? And it took me years to work it out. And it's like, I've actually been doing the work for my whole life. We all have, right?
Yeah.
But, being aware of that work and taking conscious steps to work towards that. I mean, I was under attack. I'm always under attack, but, I had a couple of months where I just switched off. It was like I wasn't there. I wasn't here. It was like imagine there's a camera on you, and that's how you see yourself. The drone camera just went, and you couldn't hear me anymore, and I just shrunk into the distance, and it was like me inside myself, like going, I'm here, and nobody, and I couldn't hear myself but I was just going through the motions, thought I was, living my life, but I wasn't. I was getting sidetracked, distracted, thrown off center, and it happens to all of us, and people dying in your life, that happens to all of us as well. It's going to happen to you. Sorry to tell you.
Can I say something really fast? So I don't want anybody to misunderstand, because my dad died. I'm going to get all teary-eyed now. With dementia last year through COVID all by himself. So I know that it's hard. And it was terrible for me trying to I couldn't even call and talk to him. He wasn't allowed to see anybody. So yeah, it isn't completely a comedy, but I know that he chose. I know that we have all chosen certain things to go through in our lives and certain tools. And I know that part of that was a learning experience for me to get to the next place. Just like every day, I'm learning so much every single day, but I always try to look at it from, like, if I was Source, which I know we're all part of Source, but if you were outside of the planet and you look down and you see everything from that perspective, instead of looking at it from my own perspective and my experiences. And it's a struggle to do that all the time. And no, it is hard. There's days I get up and I'm like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I mean, it's, why am I here? Why are we still doing this? But then I look outside at the snow, and I look at my dog, and I look at the trees, and I feel the joy and the love inside of my heart. And I think that is really what, if we focus on that, then that's what is important. And it is a movie playing out, and it's on purpose, because we've been so freaking asleep for so long, and it's all to wake everybody up. So some of it is funny, you have to admit, but
and some of it is hard, very hard.
Some of it is very hard, and I'm not trying to play anything down. I'm just saying that I've had my own pain, and I've had loss, and I've lost quite a few people in the last year, and it has been difficult, but we are eternal beings. We don't die. We just move to the next place, and it's hard for us right here, but for them, I mean, we just go to the next place, and hopefully it's a beautiful place for them, but it's all learning, and so I just wanted to say that so people don't think that I'm just insensitive, and because I'm very sensitive more than a lot of people.
Nobody on this group is insensitive. I can read everyone's energy here. Everyone cares. Everyone. I'm going and Spiritual Sunshine. It's so beautiful to meet you, Campbell, Laura from Liverpool, and gorgeous husband, JC. Love your
Farrah,
face.
you're going to be on my show soon. I just got to pull my finger out. I've been asking you for months.
Mark, I have to run. I've got my little one. I thought we were going to be half an hour. It's been the most awesome hour and a half.
This is just.
JT and you can just carry on because there's so much.
I like these kind of shows when they just evolve out of nothing.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, but I'm sorry, that's not good for scheduling. I've got to go in a bit as well because I've got to take the kids to the Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah. But stay on. You and JC carry on, and JC, any questions? I've spoken about that girl knows, so she can jump in there. Yeah.
You're amazing, Farrah.
Thank you, Farrah.
You are. Love you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for your beautiful energy, vulnerability, time, what you bring to the planet. I'm eternally grateful to meet all of you beautiful souls. Signing out.
Love you.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
You, Farrah. Bye. In Spiritual Sunshine, you gave advice that I always say to people: see it outside of, just always look at it from there, and then you understand it better. Yeah, always.
Yeah, my mom taught me that a long time ago, and I think people get so upset. Like my best friend, her brother, was killed in a car accident last year, and she was so upset, and she just had such a hard time, and it is hard when it's something traumatic like that, but when I look at it from the outside, it's all really beautiful. All the imbalance is actually perfectly balanced, and there's just so much I wish I could take out of here and put in words, but I don't even know how to say it all. I just know it is.
Have
we
you
just see it from our little spot here. We're really just a tiny speck.
Yeah. Have you had the thought? I mean, you've lost your father recently, but I lost my father back in 1997. Mark's lost his father when he was 17. And I know my own experience of speaking to my father after he passed away was that he died. If he didn't die, our family wouldn't have evolved the way it did. So sometimes the soul's decision before they even come in here is that they're going to die at this certain point, or there's going to be an illness at this certain point, and it's for the evolvement, or it's almost like a sacrifice for the rest of the family. It's a karmic thing that they've chosen, and I think that's what's happening now. I think there's a lot of people who are dying from the, and we think, they're so unevolved. They took the jab, but
that was
they are very highly evolved, and their decision was in this life that they were going to be the example for their family to wake up, and that's why they passed away from that thing. We don't know. We don't know their stories.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
That death is always chosen. Believe it or not.
I can see there's a scouser with his hand
up. I like to look at it like before we come here. The choices are like the little checklist, the little boxes.
Can't hear that well.
We can't hear you very well.
Getting close. Come on.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Oh, not really.
Oh, typical.
It's just it's like you're in
it's our audio cancelling them out, so we all have to mute.
Okay, well let's all mute.
Only messing. Yeah.
You too, Campbell.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I look at it as before we come here, before we decide to come here, we have a list with thousands of little boxes with things next to them. And we take every single experience we need, love, hate, pain, different types of pain, bereavements, but we don't know what order they're coming in. So we're not going to progress to get used to the pain. We might be hit with a tremendous pain at the first, and then it eases off. So that's how I think that we evolve. But we also are matched with somebody who matches a certain part of where we are on these ticks. So we can develop as more than just an individual. We can develop as a smaller group and create that nucleus. So we all, rather than individually feel the pain, we can feel it as a smaller group. And by feeling that, we can speak about it and understand that experience more. That's it.
And I was told that we are here because we are the strongest of the strong. And of all the volunteers that said, we'll go to where, let's tick all the lists. We were chosen because we have the stamina to stay. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and it takes some stamina, doesn't it?
Yeah. All the stupidity.
And again.
I love that, Campbell. All the stupidity. What time is it there, Campbell?
That's why
11:30?
10:30.
Ah, that's crazy, Aussies.
1:30 where you are.
1:30 a.m. here.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I know we've got all. I know we could keep speaking, but I'm gonna have to wrap it up.
No,
I'm gonna go and do dad things.
Fun stuff.
But,
go tell some dad jokes.
Yeah.
Can you please show just really quickly? Can you find a picture of St. Patrick's Stewart Day?
it's on your Telegram
Happy
channel.
St. Patrick. Oh, is it? Yeah. Happy St. Patrick's Stewart Day.
Make it so. Campbell, let's do another show again soon. And
yes,
guys, great to see all of you, and thanks everybody for watching.
Nice to meet you all.
I love you guys so much.
Good to see you all again.
You guys watching this show haven't seen Campbell's autodidactic channel, go and look it up.
Spiral Up.
And Spiral Up, because that is great stuff. This man knows his shizzle, especially when it comes to
been on there a few times.
Yeah. And
we'll do some more.
But you guys, Liverpool, love you. Good to see you, Spiritual Sunshine. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks, Joanne, for being on here. You've got to come on my show again soon because I've not seen you in a while. But thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of St. Patrick's Day.
Bye, have a good time.
You're doing. And
thanks, guys. Love you all.
Have a good time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.